The Taurus G3 versus the Canik TP9SF Elite 1. The battle of the budget 9s. Let's check it out. When it comes to 9mm pistols, there are a plethora. I mean, there are so many different 9mm striker fire pistols out on the market. And then you have your double single actions and a lot of others in between. Today we're going to take a look at the Taurus G3 versus the Canik TP9SF Elite 1. This is their economy model, and then we have the new Taurus G3, which has really come out strong right out of the gate. These are two that are priced really close, a lot of the similar features, but there are some differences. And so guys, if you're looking for that budget 9mm and you're having a hard time, hopefully this will give you a few tips and pointers. Guys, when it comes to a good firearm, they can be expensive. And so I really like to take a look at budget options that have quality and have some reliability, which, you know, if you're going to depend your life, you need that, no matter what the price. And so we're going to take a look at the Canik TP9SF Elite 1. This is kind of a stripped down version of the TP9SF Elite. Just a few accessories. As far as the pistol goes, it's the same as the standard TP9SF. And then we're looking at the Taurus G3. And this is a new offering by Taurus. This has really become popular, and one of the things about the new Tauruses, they have really stepped up their quality. So I really feel that these are two comparable firearms, and we're going to take a look at each one. So before we get started, we're going to drop the magazine, check the chamber, and it's empty. Both have 15+1 capacity. These are Metgar magazines. They're just good quality. Metgar makes magazines for most of the companies, firearm companies out there. And so they're good quality. They have like a black nitride finish on them, nice base plates. Now you only get one magazine with the Canik, which is part of the 1 series. With the Taurus, you get a 15-round magazine, but you also get a 17-round magazine with a little spacer down here at the bottom. And so that gives you a little extra capacity. Both are polymer frame striker fire pistols. The slides are a little different. With the Canik, we have a black nitride finish. It's really nice. The original TP9SF Elites had a tungsten Cerakote finish. And so I really like this actually a little better. Black nitride just holds up really well. Now with the Taurus, they've changed it from this anodized parkerized finish. This kind of really can scuff up a little bit, and I'm not a big fan of this kind of finish, but now they're going with a tenifer finish, which is what Glock used originally. And on the G3C, that's what they have, and now on the new models, they have the tenifer finish. Plus, they do have a stainless steel model as well. Both have 1913 Picatinny rails. Both have trigger shoes on the trigger for safety, and we're going to take a look at that, the trigger pull. Both have steel magazine releases. With the Canik, it's a little bit larger, and then you can switch those to the other side. Now with the Taurus, one big difference is you have a frame safety, and that's just one thing that they put on their firearms. With the Canik, you have no frame safety, which honestly I think is a plus. I'm not a big fan of these frame safeties, but a lot of people are not that confident in the safety of these type triggers. And so I can understand if you really want to go with the safety, that would be a plus. But, you know, that is one of the differences between the two. Also, your slide release, very minimal, very small, very similar to the Glock. With the Canik TP9SF Elite, it has a elongated slide release on both sides. Now you can get the standard Canik TP9SF, and it'll have an abbreviated slide release. But this is, again, ambidextrous. But it does add a little bit of width right here And so it's going to make the Canik a little bit wider than the Taurus. And on the Canik, we have a cold hammer forged barrel, black nitride finish. It's 4.5 inches, or actually 4.43 inches in length. With the Taurus, it's a 4-inch barrel, and it is stainless steel. Now, because the Canik has a little bit of a longer barrel, you can see that it does have a longer slide. And so it comes out about a 1/2 inch, which we expect. But with the grip, really it's about half of a base plate. So the grip on the Canik is a little bit shorter, but not by much. Weight on the Taurus G3, 1 pound, 8.6 ounces. Weight on the Canik TP9SF Elite 1 pound, 12.2 ounces. So about a 3.5 ounce difference. The sights on the Canik are Warren Tactical, and we have a fiber optic front sight, and they are metal. On the Taurus, we have a 3-dot sight, and these are polymer, but they are adjustable, at least the back sight. Slide serrations on the back and the front. Now, one of the things about the slide serrations is you get a little bit more of a squared off slide serration with the Canik. Here you get more of a cut into the slide. It's not quite as uniform, but yet it's really effective. So both of these have strong serrations in the back. The takedown levers on the Taurus are very similar to the Glock, and we have a little bit larger takedown lever on the Canik. Both have squared off trigger guards, but the Canik is a little bit larger, which I think would be an advantage for gloved hands. Now, when it comes to the frame, there's a big difference. One of the big things about the Taurus is that the laser stippling here is a lot more aggressive. And so when you put your hand on it, I mean, you can definitely feel you've got a lot of good traction. It has a thumb rest here, and then it has a finger rest right here, which I really like to put my finger as soon as I finish firing up here on the frame, which really is proper. You get it out of that trigger guard. And so you just get used to putting it here. Makes it nice. It's a little bit of a divot. With the Canik, it has nice texturing, and it has these pyramids that are all along the back, but it's not quite as aggressive, and I feel a little more confidence, honestly, with the Taurus. But this has a different feel to it. I mean, it really allows you to get a good grip on the pistol. One of the things that's also different is the width here. The Taurus is slightly longer or slightly wider in this area, and I think it's actually narrower in this area. And so it just gives you a totally different feel with the grip. With the Canik right here where it says made in Turkey, you have a place actually for your finger here. And you have a little bit of a thumb rest right here on the grip. Now with the Taurus, you don't have interchangeable back straps. It just is what it is. With the Canik TP9SF Elite 1, you have one extra back strap. So you pull this back strap off and you have one a little bit larger to go on here if you want to fit your hand a little bit better if you have bigger hands. But really the one back strap is only for the 1 series. They typically have 2 back straps. They typically have a holster that goes with this, and also they have an extra magazine. Now we're going to check the trigger action. This has the blade safety, which keeps it from firing unless you have a full finger on the trigger. And that's really the safety of the pistol. And of course there are other safeties, firing pin block safety and drop safe. And so this is fully drop safe. But with the trigger, go ahead and pull it in. You have take up, and you can see it's a pretty long take up. And then we have our brake. It's not a very crisp brake, somewhat smushy, but better than the G2C. We're going to check reset right there, pretty fast, and then back on it. Now, one thing about the Taurus is that it has second strike capability. So let's say you pull the trigger on a dead round. Instead of having to tap rack and reinsert your magazine, it has second strike capability. And it's a lot shorter reset, and then it fires right there. And so this gives you a little bit of advantage with the Taurus. With the Canik, we have also the trigger safety. It's much more abbreviated. So you bring it here, you can see the red coming out. It is a red safety. Bring it in. A nice crisp break. The trigger on the Canik is definitely superior. Reset right there. Very quick. Canik is known for having really good triggers, and this is definitely an excellent trigger for a striker fire pistol. But it doesn't have the second strike capability. So if you hit a dead round for any reason, you're going to have to rack the slide. Okay, we're going to check our trigger pull weight with our Lyman trigger gauge from Brownells. We're going to go with the Taurus first. 3 pounds, 14.8 ounces, and that's about what we were getting. Just under the 4 pound mark. With the Canik, 3 pounds, 5.4 ounces. And guys, that's pretty much what we were getting as well with the Canik. So you have a little bit of a lesser trigger pull weight than you do on the Taurus. Okay, I want to thank Fiocchi for sponsoring the ammo, all made right here in the USA. Also, Lula loaders, especially when you're like us and you forget your magazines. We only had one each, so this makes it really fast. One of the things about taking two handguns down to the range in a comparison is you get a real-world side-by-side feel for each handgun, whereas you might not notice it if you just took one out and then took another one. One of the big things about both of these pistols is they're just reliable, and we've done full reviews on each one, and we've done some other work shooting these, and we probably put about 700 or 800 rounds through these two pistols each. Going down to the range this time, we put about 500 rounds through them together because we had already had a lot of experience with them. And mainly it was just to test how they shot at the range. And guys, I'm telling you, when you're shooting them side by side, the Canik with more of the weight, it seemed to shoot a little flatter. There was less muzzle rise. And we all agreed on that. And so then when we started shooting though rapid fire, we noticed that the Taurus actually performed better. It seemed to kind of get back on target quicker. A lighter weight gun, but yet not really sure why. It seems like that maybe the slide mass on the Canik was affecting those fast shots, whereas with the Taurus, it was bringing it back quicker. And so while slow shots with the Canik, speed with the Taurus. And so here we're just shooting them side by side. The Taurus has a great feel to it. That aggressive grip really makes you feel like you've got a good solid purchase on the firearm when you're shooting it. It's a little bit thicker in the grip, but not by much. But definitely I enjoyed the grip on the Taurus. With the Canik, it's a little bit just not as aggressive. It has a little bit of slickness to it, it seems, but it does nestle in your hand really well. And so it gives you some really good ergonomics. Honestly, guys, putting these two pistols in your hand, it's a totally different feel. And it's one of the reasons why, it's one of the first things that I like to do when choosing a firearm is to see how it feels in my hand. And to be honest, it's not like I like one over the other. They're just different. But when it comes to a little bit more aggressive texturing, the Taurus does win. The sights on the Canik are definitely superior. I like the fiber optic, I like the Warren tactical sights. But the 3-dot sights on the Taurus perform very well. So shooting them side by side again, guys, we were able to get some really minute differences to each one and some advantages. But overall, these are both excellent firearms. And then, of course, we wanted to get some accuracy. And guys, I really appreciated NC Hill for coming down for the range portion and shooting and his feedback on these two handguns as well. Now when breaking the pistols down, we're going to drop the mag, check, make sure it's unloaded, pull the trigger, pull down on those tabs, push out, and then just pull the slide up. We have a metal recoil spring and guide rod. It is the flat recoil spring. Bring out our barrel, and it is the black nitride barrel. It's beautiful. Comes to the Taurus, drop our magazine, check to make sure it's unloaded, pull the trigger, pull back on the slide just a touch, and pull those tabs down. And then it should go forward. With the Taurus, we have a dual captive recoil spring. It is all steel. And then again, we have a 4-inch stainless steel barrel. Here the Taurus on top, the Canik at the bottom, just gives you a little bit of a look on the inside. Here the Taurus barrel on the right has a little bit more of a pronounced feed ramp, but overall these are very similar in design. Taurus on top, Canik at the bottom, just gives you an idea of the frame. A little bit larger locking block on the Taurus. The Canik is embedded into the frame. Reassembly in reverse order. Now as far as price comparison, the Canik retails for $379.99, while the Taurus is $345.23. So you have about $29 difference in retail price. But when you go to market, typically the Canik would run anywhere from around $260 up to about $299. In a number of places, I saw it for around the $230 range. And so you have a considerable lower price with the Taurus. Both have lifetime warranties. To wrap things up, we're just going to do a final comparison. With a Canik, you're going to pay between $30 and $40 more. And considering this is battle of the budgets, you know, that definitely comes into play. You do have a lot of quality with the Caniks. They came out of the gate with really good quality. You know, you do have your black nitride slide. You do have your ambidextrous slide release. 115 round magazine, which is a little bit of a ding on the Canik. And then you can go up if you want to go with a different model to get the extra magazines. The trigger is superior. It weighs a little more, and it's a little bit longer, the barrel length. And you have your metal sights. And so those are really some of the key things. Also, your grip is not quite as aggressive. It's a little bit more slick than it is on the Taurus. With the Taurus, you're coming in at a better price. You have a little more aggressive texturing. You are getting a little more muzzle flip when you shoot it in just regular standard shooting. But again, when you rapid fire, you have a little better control because, number one, I think the grip's part of it, and also the lighter slide. One thing, again, you will have a Tenifer finish, which is going to hold up very well. I'm really a big fan of the black nitride, though, so I really like it. And you do get 2 magazines with the Taurus, one 15-rounder and one 17-rounder, so that's definitely a big plus. And you do get second strike capability. And if you like a safety, you have one on the Taurus. If you don't have one on the Canik. But guys, honestly, all in all, these are 2 very comparable pistols. They are very reliable. They shoot very well. You know, there are some plus and minuses for each one. But if you're looking for a budget firearm, I think these 2 are pretty equal in features and in quality. And yes, the price is a little lower on the Taurus, but honestly, you're getting a little more with the Canik. So guys, 2 excellent budget firearms. I feel like that Taurus has really stepped up their game, making much better quality. Their quality control seems to be a lot better. And the Taurus G3, I have been totally impressed with. And the G3C for that matter. With Canik, it came out of the gate pretty strong, and it's still going strong. A lot of options, a lot of choices with different type models. So whichever one you choose, I think either one of these are going to be an excellent option. Rubber Dummies is one of the best training tools on the market. And you get a 10% discount using Suit00 when you click the link down in the description. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. This has kind of a okay, so about a 3.5 inch.
That's what she said.
Did you say that's what she said?
Yes. I'm watching too much of The Office. You ever watch that show, Robbie? Rodney? Crap!
I could call it that.
Listen! I'm so used to Robbie being here, and for some reason...
I'm sorry you got the second-rate Robbie here.
No! I said I'm gonna start calling both y'all Robney.